What's up, everybody? It's Fudge X, and I've been noticing for the past couple of days, people been talking about this $6 billion HUD cut, housing. I think it's called Housing for Urban Development, and the biggest, people who are on Section 8, they're gonna be affected the most. I don't know the ins and outs of that. If HUD got like a whole bunch of different sections, I don't know. I don't know because I'm not on it, and I just know people on it, but I don't know. I don't know much about it. But they're saying they're trying to cut $6 billion by next week. I think they'll have a. It's gonna be like more information coming out or whatever, and I really don't feel sorry for nobody other than the kids. Uh, and really, I, you know, the fact that these kids are gonna be starving, I don't know the extent it's gonna go to. Maybe it's not as bad as we think it's gonna be, or maybe it's worse than what we think it's gonna be. I don't know, but I feel bad for the kids. Hopefully, the elderly people, if they're on it, they're okay. Elderly people who busted their ass and then got disabled. Now, if you've been on Section 8 from the moment you're 18 and you're now 40, I can't rock with that. I can't rock with that. And yes, I know some people. Like there are some in my family. There are some third generational welfare recipients in my family. It's like, how the fuck you up through 3 generations? Okay, but yeah, it's just the kids is what I feel bad for. But that's why I mean, I get it. Like, if you can live for free, why not? But the only thing about that is, and I think men see it a lot differently because we actually have to go out and bust our ass to get what we want, and we encounter a lot of shit. So like me, I'm like, I wouldn't want it if I was a woman. I wouldn't want to be on Section 8. If I was to have to get on it, it'd be strictly temporarily because you know how the government moves. They'll take anything when they see fit, you know. So if you're feeding me and I can't feed myself, I can. The moment you realize that I'm now your slave because now you can control me, and that's one thing I don't want. I don't need no one controlling me. You know what I'm saying? So if they're like, hey, you either you get out or you take this chip. You know what I'm saying? Or you get out, or you know what I'm saying? Like you're under you're under their spell, you're under their control. That's why it's not a good thing to be sitting on these Section 8 for year after year, especially generations. You know what I'm saying? So it's a really it's a bad move if that was your plan. If you just wanted to coast through life and that's it, then yeah, this is going to affect you even worse because 9 times out of 10 people who didn't have no intentions on doing anything with their life and just sitting on Section 8, they're the ones who are going to hurt the most. They're the most. They're going to be the most devastated because they didn't have a plan. They didn't intend on having a plan. They just figured, hey, Big Daddy gonna take care of me. So now you got these kids. And if you have a kid and you get on Section 8 and you have another kid, and how that's for women and children. So how in the hell that's you basically committing fraud at this point? Uh, because there's a man somewhere. You keep bringing the man in, and you're going down to the office and you don't know where the daddy at. You know what I'm saying? You don't know his name. He just up and left you and all this shit. It's like how like that means you meeting these dudes and within a couple of months you're getting pregnant by them, which is a retard a retard move if you ask me. But yeah, that's the point of having a man there. That's the reason they if it's for women and children, a man is not supposed to be in the picture. Like these cuts have been coming before Obama. I mean, before Trump got in office, the cuts was already being sent out. I remember my cousin. I remember when she was on Section 8, she was throwing a house party. What you call it? Not a grand opening, a housewarming party, right? She had got some nice ass, big ass, nice ass house. And I'm like, yeah, that's some nice shit. Come to find out, Section 8 was paying for it. And I'm like, man, I'm like, I felt some type of way about it. I'm like, God damn, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm over here slaving away in the middle of the fucking night. And she get this big ass 4 bedroom house. And it was a brand new house at that because it was one of them communities where they were just building the houses. So she got in. She had a driveway, garage. It was like a two car garage, all that shit. That shit was nice. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, her fucking rent is probably like $100, and I'm paying like 800 on the other side of town, living next door to a crack house. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, that shit ain't right. But that's how they had it. That's how she had it. And then as time went on, they started making more and more cuts. Her kids was getting older, and now they stand in just a 2 bedroom apartment. And she has a boy and a girl. They have to share a room. And she's like, why do they have to share a room? It's a boy and a girl, and they're not even little. They're teens now, and they're like, well, the girl could be in the room with you. you know, and that's how they looking at it. Like the girl could be in the room with you. Ain't what you gonna have a man in there? Please come out your mouth and say that. so we could just cut you from the program totally. You know what I'm saying? Because if there's a man in the picture, that man needs to be over there helping out around the house. You know, that's why you know certain people would say when you talk about the dating when you talk about the dating world, someone be like, if you're gonna be coming up in this house, you're gonna be paying some bills. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women had that attitude. You gotta respect that. Like, for one, you ain't just gonna be fucking me, and then you ain't just gonna be coming over here eating up my shit. Running up my electric bill, just chilling in my house. Like, nah, nigga, you finna help with these bills. Matter of fact, you gonna pay majority of them. You know what I'm saying? And I feel women who think that way. You know what I'm saying? Because you work hard for your shit, and they want to come into your shit. A nigga just gotta pay that price. Hey, nigga, you finna pay majority, which is what the average man would do anyway. He would take majority of the load off the woman anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's just how men are. If a man can have it his way where the woman don't have to work, he would. But we don't really live in a world where the average man can do that. So it's better if two people were actually working, but the man would just take the majority of the load. My ex, she lost her job, and I decided to move in with her. And I'm like, hey, I didn't have a car, but I was like, hey, make sure I get to work. You know what I'm saying? I said, because she had the car. I'm like, just make sure I get to work and I'll take care of everything. You know what I'm saying? The rent was like $800 something dollars, and she took care of the light bill and I think what, like the cable or something. You know, and she was getting food stamps, but shit, a lot of times I end up still having to pay for the food because either we ran out of food stamps because she had 2 kids, or she may have forgotten a food stamp card, and we sitting there with a buggy full of fucking groceries, and it's like shit. So I still end up paying a lot of. I paid most of the bills, but I didn't really have an issue with that because that was my lady. We was together, and it is what it was. We were just doing our thing. So that's why if a man is in it, if they find out a man in the picture, a man's supposed to help you get out of that situation. You're not supposed to be letting men come in there, get you pregnant, and just bouncing. You know what I'm saying? Or just living up in there while you still on Section 8. My sister made that fucking mistake. Fucked around with a sorry ass dude, got married, and they fucking found out, and she got the boot. She had like a week to move. You know what I'm saying? And I told her don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? This nigga, he wasn't really he wasn't shit. I ain't like him the day I met him. But hey, women like what they like, right? So that's the whole point of why it's for women and children. Um, so if you're like second and third generation, you just been riding this thing out. I don't really feel sorry for you. I feel bad for the kids, and that's it. Um, you know these. I remember I had one girl one time ask me. She called me. She was like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I'm going to work." She like, "Damn, you don't get tired of working?" Mind you, this girl do not work. You don't get tired of going to work? And I'm like, "Bitch, what the fuck is you talking about?" I said, "No, I don't get tired of work. You know why? Cause I'll be broke like you." You know, and those were my exact words. And she got offended, but I'm like, shit, who really wants to go to work? I know I don't. But one thing I do love is my money, my privacy. I don't like, I love not need having to beg, and I'm not about to beg. I'll probably rob you before I beg you. You know what I'm saying? For any damn thing. So that's the beauty of getting your own money, getting a job, you know, sustaining yourself. That's the beauty of it. You can do for yourself. You ain't gotta ask nobody else. You ain't gotta beg and hope somebody do something for you. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta be at their mercy. You know what I'm saying? I don't make a lot of money at my job, but I got my own apartment, car, all that. Don't nobody do nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? So 9 times out of 10, I'm doing stuff for other people. So that's the beauty of not being on assistance. You know, you're not at their mercy. You know, and you know this is gonna be a domino effect, really, because a lot of people who get kicked off, their parents may suffer, or other relatives may suffer by having them, because they don't want them on the street or living in a car. You know, may have them come live with them. You know what I'm saying? And now they getting stressed out because they got a bunch of kids running around their goddamn house. Ain't no food in the motherfucking refrigerator because kids eat, kids drink up everything. That's just what kids do. Kids are they're energetic and they're growing, so they just eat. They just eat and they just fucking eat and drink, you know, and they don't pay bills. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they didn't ask to be here. They hell, you know. But now that they are here, you need to raise them right, so when they get out in the world, they don't make the same mistakes you made. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, so it's gonna be a domino effect. A lot of these Korean stores, these Chinese restaurants, these Arab stores, Metro PCS, they ain't gonna get so many people. Ain't gonna be buying too many phones anymore. Uh, you know them. What you call them? Food stamp cards. You can't use those no more, or you ain't gonna make that much off. Hey, these Korean stores, these stores may become a ghost town around there. These Koreans may be like, fuck that up. We done made our money off these niggas. Let's go. Let's go back home. We came what we got. We came here. We got what we came for. Time has ran out. Goodbye. Let's go. It may be a ghost town. You know what I'm saying? I remember Plies said in a song some years ago, if it wasn't for welfare, a lot of us would be starving. And that's the fucking truth of it. A lot of people feel fucking starved, you know? And you can only blame yourself. I'm cool with people getting help. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody should get help. Like if I was in charge of HUD or food stamps or Section 8, I'll approve everybody, but everybody will have a time frame. And your time frame would just be 2 years. If you call yourself having an extra baby within them 2 years, that has nothing to do with us, because that means you done committed fraud. But we ain't gonna hit you with that. You committed fraud by bringing a man up in your house. You know what I'm saying? Now you got another baby. So now you looking back. Oh, can I get another two? No. You should have stuck to the plan. You know what I'm saying? You should have stuck to the plans. We fulfilled our contractual duties. Now it's on you. Make room for the next person. You know what I'm saying? So I remember up in Atlanta some years ago, they were handing out like 100 Section 8 applications. I don't even think they were gonna approve everybody. They just had 100 applications, and it was like hundreds of people standing outside the welfare office for like 3 days, because they didn't even know, the welfare office didn't even say when they were gonna open. They just said, hey, we're gonna be handing out 100 applications. Either you get approved or don't get approved, but get the application, you're good. There was over hundreds of people out there, maybe even 1,000. It was people out there camping out, even grown ass men out there camping out. When they opened the doors, you had people running, trampling over each other. You had grown men knocking little kids over, knocking women over, trying to get to that application. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, God damn, what the fuck? Like, this is some crazy shit. I'm like, I'm so glad I can I can fend for myself. You know, because when I was 18, I almost slipped into that shit. I had a girl who was on, she was a foster kid, and we were working together, and she had quit, but me and her was still talking or whatever. And being that she was a foster kid and in school, the government paid for her housing and all that. So she wanted me to come stay with her. And then she put in my head that she didn't even want me to work. She just wanted me to be there with her. And at the time, I was working at McDonald's, and I was really kind of fed up with being there anyway. And this is my first time getting some cooch because I was a virgin. I was like what 18, 19 around that time. So she got in my head. I ended up quitting my damn job, and I'm just sitting around the house and shit, ain't doing shit. Everything cool, we eating, but I had to depend on her for every fucking thing. And she started acting a certain way, too. She started acting a certain way. And I remember my mom called me one day. She called me and asked me, did you find a job? And I was like, nah, I ain't found no job. And I wasn't even looking. Man, my mama tore me a new asshole over the phone, man. My mama made me feel like a fucking roach. Small as a fucking roach, man. My mama got in my ass like, man, you a fucking man. I ain't raised you to be no sorry ass nigga. What the fuck you doing over there living off that one? My mama didn't even know that girl, but my mama just didn't like the fact that I was being a bum ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? My mama tore up into my ass, man. When I hung up the phone, I cried. I cried real fucking tears. You know what I'm saying? And I thank her for that mother, for that, cause the next day I went and got me a job. You know what I'm saying? I'm at that job to this day. You know what I'm saying? When I got that job, that's when the shit really hit the fan between me and the girl, because she didn't like the fact that I was working. And a lot of women, I think that's why they mess with dudes who don't really have much, because and this is just women in general, women who on Section 8 and women who got actual jobs. They rather date somebody who is on a lower level than them, status wise, financially. You know what I'm saying? Because a man with equal means or greater, she really can't run him. You know what I'm saying? And once I got that job, started getting my own money. My mind was I'm finna help my girl out. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't want none of my money. She was just catching attitudes and just I couldn't figure it out. But I know what it was. I ain't need her no more. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see that, but she saw that. You know what I'm saying? And it was only a matter of time before I guess I didn't see the value in myself. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a matter of time before I realized it and bounced. And she had an issue with that. Another girl I was messing with, I had a job but I didn't have a car, and she used to always say, when you get she ain't never want me to get a car, and I wasn't really looking for a car. I was a dude that normally ride bicycles, and I had no issue riding a bike. I had no desire to get a car, but I remember she would say it every night, just out of the blue. She was like, I really don't want you to get a car, and she didn't want me to get a car because now I got options. I'll cheat. You know what I'm saying? And that's what she used to say. I'm like, why you say that? Because she's like, when you get a car, you can cheat now. I can't control where you go. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of women, they rather date busted, dusty ass dudes. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of these women on Section 8, they cater to these men because who ain't gonna come back to get some of that hot cooked food. People on food stamps, they buy steak, shrimp, lobsters and shit. They eat better than the person that's actually working. You know what I'm saying? The person that's actually working, they gotta come up with a list on what they gonna buy, how this shit gonna, how many days it's gonna last, what they gonna eat. We gotta really meal prep. You know what I'm saying? So now they being faced with some real shit, and it's devastating. And they got these kids to worry about. So hey, I don't know what to tell you. You know, it's bad. I feel bad for the kids and any elderly people or disabled. You know, I feel like they should be spared. But these people who've been sitting on it for a few years, I don't know I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. But we're gonna find out next week. You know, $6 billion cut. We're gonna see. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I had to say. Peace.